Good morning, sunshine. It's your favorite YouTuber, Marcus Dell'Olio, back at it again at approximately 5:30 a.m. By the way, if I'm saying 5:30, I mean a.m. If it were up to me, I would still be asleep. But my internal clock just won't let me sleep past about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. But that's not what you guys are here about. You guys are here to talk to me, or rather, to listen to me talk about my trip to Crocosaurus Cove in Australia. So for those of you who don't know, Crocosaurus Cove is like a zoological park in the Northwest Territory, or sorry, rather, I said the Northwest Territory because grew up in Canada and that's a territory. The Northern Territory, I'm an idiot, don't worry about it, in Australia. And for whatever reason, I didn't talk about them when I talked about my trip to Australia. There's a few things I missed with my trip to Australia that only in the editing phase did I realize. And then by the time I realized it, the video was already like 15 minutes long. I didn't want to make it any longer. This is a special bonus feature of, I guess, my trip to Australia. And essentially what it is it's very heavily focused on crocodiles, Crocosaurus Cove. You're actually able to interact with crocodiles more so than you would be at your normal zoological park. They had all these feeding shows, they had all these little displays, they had a big metal like jaw that had the approximate, I think it was like 5,000 pounds per square inch of jaw pressure for an adult male saltwater crocodile, and they put a block of ice in it, and then you could watch it crush the ice, and it was really cool. I'm a child, so I like seeing things get like destroyed like that. It runs in my mind that they had a few other animals there as well, but not too many. I can't remember it. I can't remember seeing them. So, what you guys... Hey, you went up? You can stay up here. We can talk. Now, the interesting thing about Crocosaurus Cove is, like I said, it allows you to interact with crocodiles a little bit more than you would be able to at a normal zoological park. And what I mean by this is, y'all ever seen James Bond? I feel like one of his villains would have designed the main attraction to this place. Because what it is a plexiglass tube, or like an acrylic tube. And when I got into it, I feel like I could have done something like this. So it's pretty wide, and it's pretty tall because I was able to stand up fully in it and still have a lot of headspace. And I was 6'2", so pretty big. There's not a big chance that you're going to feel too cramped in there. And I got in there with another man. So essentially what happens is you get into this tube in your swimsuit, then they put you out over the water, bring you out a little farther, you're like on a crane system, and then they just dunk you into the water. You are in the water, essentially, with a massive saltwater crocodile. I got in the water, I think, with the one who's been in... I think he was the famous one I got into the water with. So I've rubbed shoulders with fame, with celebrities. He was in a couple of movies. The one that sticks out to me the most is Crocodile Dundee. So I think he was the crocodile in the very beginning of Crocodile Dundee. So very cool, very cool. So I'm only one step away from whoever the guy is that plays Crocodile Dundee, because I met the crocodile that met him. 7 degrees of separation is a wild thing. You guys should play it sometime. Before we did all of that, they make you sign like a waiver. They talk to you about what you're allowed to and what you're not allowed to do, yada, 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 just legal stuff. In the sides of the tube, there are these slits. They're no bigger than about that. And what those are there for you to do, it used to be a feature, I'm not making this up, you could feed the crocodile through those. Don't know if I'd want to do that, but essentially what ended up happening was, I think lawyers got involved and insurance got involved, and they were like, hey, you can't do that anymore. And they were like, okay, we won't do that anymore. But they still have the slits. So in their spiel to us, they're like, hey, don't touch the crocodile through there, because some of you, I'm sure, can fit your hands through there. I've got thin fingers. I can fit my hands through there. And I know I can. And I'll tell you how I know I can. Because I had my partner right next to me while we were talking. The safety person is talking to the whole group. He's addressing the group, so he's not really paying attention to us. I lean over to him and I say, are you going to touch the crocodile? And he says, I'll touch it if you touch it. And I'm like, we're touching this crocodile. So as we are lowering into the water, and the water is filling our tube, and it looks like we're going to drown to death in like some asinine contraption, I'm looking, and old boy's coming down off the his greenery there, and I'm like, all right, it's it's go time. So what they do is they basically lead the crocodile around your tube and feed it, so you can kind of see what it's like to have it like slam its mouth shut. Although they know they're gonna get fed, so they're not super like aggressive or whatever. They're just like taking the food. But even still, they're feeding them like bits of chicken and stuff. Really interesting to hear the bones crunch, stuff like that. And just from an animal that doesn't seem like it's trying very hard. Just the kind of raw power of this animal, incredible to get up close to. It seriously is. It's so wild. If you guys, if you've been to the St. Augustine alligator farm, or if you've been to numerous other places that they allow you to hold baby alligators and baby crocodiles and stuff like that, they feel very soft. In my opinion, they feel like a purse. Like seriously, that's the best way. Like a really supple leather purse is what they feel like. That is not what the adults feel like. So up until this point, I really hadn't had hands-on with a crocodile that was over 10 feet. And I think this guy was approaching 14 or 15 feet. I could be wrong, but I think he was approaching 14 or 15 feet. His mouth goes by one of the slits, and that's when I'm like, all right, time to touch him. I think he's used to it because he didn't flinch or anything. I put my hand out, and I touched him. Y'all, it was like reinforced concrete, baby. If I didn't know what I was touching, I would have thought I was touching like almost a wet rock. That's kind of what it felt like. There was like virtually no give to it, and it was just it was there. It was there, and his scoots. If you guys don't know what scoots are, it's basically the scales that are over his back. Oh, like it felt like it could have cut you. They're so strong. Amazing. Totally insane. The worker didn't see us do it either, so, or if he did, he was a bro, let us do it. So, salute to you and yours. The other side of Crocosaurus Cove is that a lot of the crocodiles, not like the famous ones or the really big ones, but a lot of the crocodiles there, they actually use for leather products and meat. That has drawn some controversy within Australia. I'm not particularly sure why, because the crocodiles are very clearly well cared for. Oh my gosh, I fell in love with this one subadult, gorgeous crocodile. I don't know what it was. It was just something, I guess, in my soul that was just like, I love that crocodile. Fell in love with that stupid thing. I don't know, I can't even explain it. I seriously can't even explain it. I loved that crocodile, and I don't know why. But all the crocodiles are very well cared for. They're all well fed. They're all very healthy. It's just that they're being farmed as well. And coming from someone who has no problem with regular farms, which is essentially what this is. It's not an industrial farm or anything like that. It's not a mass meat farm. It's taking care of the animals it has without overloading its own system. At least it was when I was there. Keep in mind, this was 2014. So keep that in mind. I have no idea what it's been like for the past 6 years. So if it has suddenly gone to the dogs, don't at me. What, I'm not paying enough attention to you? I'm talking to them right now. I got a belt there, which I still have. Hold on a second. Here's that belt. This is from 2016. And when I tell you it's just as supple and just as gorgeous, I have worn this so many times for like the first 2 years when I got back from Australia. This was what I wore every single day. And the only way you can tell that is this small little dent in the back where my back belt loop touched it. It's tough as nails. I paid a lot for it. This was, I think, 250 Australian dollars, which, show the calculation for that, rip my bank account, whatever. But it's so worth it. I've gotten so much use out of this. I mean, it's not even funny. It's seriously not even funny. I have a cowhide leather belt in there that I've had for maybe a year and a half, and it looks so much worse than this. It's not even funny. And I have never treated this leather. Never treated this leather. As you can tell, I don't see an issue with the farming of animals as long as it's done ethically. And as far as I could tell when I was there, because we got like a behind the scenes tour and all the rest of it, it was ethical. I was also the first place I ever tried crocodile meat. A guy named Josh Roberts that I was there with let me try some of his, he got like a crocodile burger or something like that. and he cut off a piece because I'd never had any, and I wasn't really hungry. Cut off a piece and let me have some, and it's pretty good. Tasted a little bit more like fish than alligator. Had alligator before too. It tasted a little bit more like fish, but definitely a lot like alligator at the same time. It was weird. Same kind of consistency as alligator, but more of a saltwater fish. Since they knew I wasn't from there, because number one, look at me, pale as a ghost. Number two, I don't have an Australian accent. They had to give me like a slip, like a little piece of paper, saying that animal wasn't poached, and it's like registration number and all the rest of it. So they take these things very seriously. I had to have all that to clear customs with it. If I wasn't wearing it or whatever, or if they saw me wearing it, they're like, hey, where'd you get that? Kind of thing. So they knew. So Crocosaurus Cove is very on top of that, at least they used to be. And maybe one of these days I'll get into my grievance with the reptile community and kind of the double standard that I see a lot of them have with our animals, kind of putting them above the rest of all the animals, in my opinion. So if you guys enjoyed what you watched today, please leave a like, maybe subscribe, comment down below. If you've ever been to Crocosaurus Cove, you want to go to Crocosaurus Cove or anything like that, tell me if you think it's ethical or not to farm animals for their meat or leather. I am always open to listening to anybody's viewpoint. I think civil discourse is the only way kind of forward in our society. Comment down below, and as always, if you get tired, please pull over, give me a call, maybe grab a hotel if I don't pick up, pull over to the side of the road if you're really tired, grab a quick nap. That extra couple of minutes of drive time is not worth your life, nor is it worth your insurance or money, or your car, or your car's life. Have some pity for your car, if no one else. Remember to always keep that thing on you, and always take the stairs. Have a good night. We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.